Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Hi there, it's me again. I'm back in chair. Not sandbagging you, not lying to you. I literally got a message 15 minutes before we started that Joe was stuck at the port. I don't know what that means, but I know he's okay. And he's stuck at the port. And he said, Patrick, it's you again. So here I am. I am so thankful for Joe for trusting in me to take this on when he's not here and just allowing me to connect with you and allow me to share my point of view on what's going on in the world today, which quite frankly is a lot. Also, by the way, Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Anyone else feel like 2025 was a long year? And we were in charge, you know? 2025 seems like a very long year. And we were in charge everywhere. My goodness. It's kind of, when you think about it and you put that into perspective, like, what are the next 3 years going to bring? What's the next 6 months? What's the next month? Right? Like, we're legitimately at a tipping point in this country. We're there on so many different levels. You just feel the frustration all across the board, everywhere you turn, everywhere you look. I know algorithms, this, that, and the other thing, but honestly, there's not a lot of good that people can find going on in society, in government, right? So you gotta look in. You gotta look within. What's the goodness closest to you? What gives you your peace? You know, because we can go crazy. You know, talking about with Ty yesterday about, getting that nervous system, stabilizing that central nervous system. You know, like part of that's, controlling what you can control and accepting that and focusing in on where you find your peace. Because he's right, man. It's tough walking around jacked up all day looking for the next fight. It's not hard to find the next fight. Like, let's be real. It is really not hard to find the next fight. They actually serve it on a platter every day. Or, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, depending who gets soundbited or who gets access to social media. Right? But we are just at a tipping point across this country. It is, I want to say it's fascinating to watch, but it is fascinating to watch, but it's where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going to end up? I'm in my 40s, right? I got a little guy coming up right behind me, 3-year-old kid, man. Going to be 4 in February. What am I leaving him? What's he going to be growing up in? What's going to be left for him? Never thought I would have those feelings, thoughts, or questions, as I was progressing through my 30s and even into my 40s, right? But man, oh man, it is quite apparent to me that the country I love is changing, and we're in a battle for it. We are in a forever battle for it. It feels like, and the tensions are just high. Tensions are just high everywhere. Fraud being exploited. States, judges, politicians seem to think law or federal law doesn't apply to them. They get to ignore what they're supposed to be doing. Like, everything's just completely out of whack. And yet, who's supposed to do what they do? Us. You know, the two thumb people right here, us. You know, the ones that just take it every day because we literally have no control, right? We're gonna look at that today. We're gonna talk about the movement online. Like Joe put it out. We're gonna talk about it. You know, like what the hell are we paying taxes for? You know, like money is just getting burned through, and Elon shined a big light on that on X recently. We're gonna talk about that as well today. You know, just woof. But we will start out with this. Trump did put a truth out this morning in regards to Tina, and we would like to put that up for you. God bless Tina Peters, who is now, for 2 years out of 9, sitting in a Colorado maximum security prison at the age of 73. Not correct. And sick for the crime of trying to stop the massive voter fraud that goes on in her state. Correct. Where people are leaving in record numbers. Well, I'm not surprised. Like, if you have any common sense, you're not looking to move here. You're not. Hard to wish her a happy new year, but to the scumbag governor, checkmark, and the disgusting Republican rhino DA, checkmark, who did this to her, nothing happens to the Dems and their phony mail-in ballot system that makes it impossible for a Republican to win an otherwise very winnable state. I wish them only the worst. May they rot in hell. Free Tina Peters. Yeah. So what's up with the mail-in voting system, Mr. President? What are we doing about it? What's being fixed here? Anything? Anything? Right? Like, what's being done here? Same thing with Tina. I pardon her. Let her out. Pump out your chest. Pump out your chest. We need to get it done, sir. Things need to get done. People are frustrated. People are frustrated. I can't even imagine what Tina feels like sitting in prison, knowing the truth. I can't imagine what she feels like every day. She has to feel horrible, betrayed, depressed. It's amazing the fight, the inner strength that woman has at her age to keep chugging along, taking no bullshit from anybody too. Like, yo, that's good stuff. You know, I forgot who said it, but you know, filled with piss and vinegar. Like that's the old school mentality. She's not taking any bullshit. You know? And then out state throws her in the slammer. No, nothing to see here. State charges, federal election, state charges. Can't touch her. Even though it's been ruled through the courts. I believe it's the state of Indiana, a federal court, where, you know, if the federal slate is on the ballot, federal authorities kind of have oversight over that, right? So, like, there is an argument for her to be. Whoop, whoop. Also, DOJ investigating criminal, the Colorado prison system for civil rights abuse. Hey, witness, come on out, right? So many different ways. Like, there's no reason for this to be going on. You know, it's just all bullshit. You know, political theater. People controlled as political pawns to be used to incite people to speak out, rage out, act stupidly, then be allowed to open up said lawfare against those that acted stupidly because they couldn't keep their emotions in check, because they felt like they kept getting grinded down by the system, you know, spit on, crapped on, dismissed. No, it's a powder keg. It's a powder keg that nothing seems to get done. Nothing ever seems to get done. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. And it's just frustrating to just walk around and see what goes on every day, know what goes on every day, and see nothing ever done about it. Nothing ever done about it. Right? And part of that has to do, Joe acknowledged, if you put up Joe's post, if you go to A1, simply put, there's only one way to have free and fair, unfraudulent elections: paper ballots, in person, with an ID, with counting to happen at the precinct level. That's it. Couple other details, but it gets rid of the grift and the shitbags on both sides. And it restores the voice of the American people. Right? Because I believe at the heart of this, why all this is happening, the real root of everything, is that there is contempt and hatred for the American people from within their own government. That's why all this is allowed to happen. The people we elect, the people we pay salaries to, the ones that are in charge, don't give a crap about us regular folk. That's at the heart, right? Because from that, everything else is allowed to happen. Because if you don't put America first, not make America great again, but if you don't put America first or Americans first, everything's just shot to shit. Americans don't matter. Root. Then you build from there, from the ground up, right? Pop, here comes your stem. Here it comes. How are we gonna show the American people we don't give a shit about them? We're gonna steal their voice. We're gonna control them through the elections. We're gonna make them think they have a voice. We're gonna make them think they actually have a say in their government, but they don't. And then you install the cronies, and then from that branch, everything else sprouts off, and here we are. But it all, what I believe goes down to is the contempt for the American people. Now, does President Trump hate the American people? No, I don't believe so. Does but the way his administration's acting, how much do they love the American people? How much they put the American people first? And yeah, they're doing great work with the deportations. That's great. You know, you let 20 million in 4 years. We kicked 4 million out, 5 million out over 4 years. You know, we're only down 13 million extra, plus the billions of dollars that have been defrauded from us. You know, but no, the American people demand change, demand major arrest. We deserve it, and we see it. We see it. The fraud that's going on is not operating at the level that they're operating at just by these Somali refugees that came in and just like, oh, we're going to figure this out and do this together. Okay, yeah, right. Like, sorry, that's not how it works. And if you actually look at it from like an IQ level, take a look where Somalis rank on the IQ board. Just take a look. And then you tell me if they're going to be able to pull these strings and tie together these massive fraud networks that are being uncovered in Minneapolis, Massachusetts, Ohio. I'm sure New York's in there. I'm sure Colorado's in there, California. You know? And don't get it wrong either, right? Like, the Democrats aren't the only ones that commit fraud. The Republicans do the same thing, just under different light. Like, the Democrats do it under all education, child care, right? Green New Deal, those types of organizations, right? The right, we do it through war. We do it through war. Israel and Gaza, Ukraine, Russia. How the hell is that war still going on for 4 years? It's an endless money pit. That war is still going on coming on 4 years, February of 2026, coming on 4 years. And it seems like no one gains any land. It's crazy. Russia's this big superpower. Oh, we should be scared of Russia. But yet Russia can't do shit to Ukraine. Ukraine, I don't know how they get the men to fight. I'm assuming they're paying out people to go over there to fight and paying other mercenaries to join their ranks. You know, but then I see parties of people chilling in Kyiv at nightclubs. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but I do know the money spigot did not get shut off as Trump promised. You know, Trump got what he wanted, though. Zelensky showed up in a suit. You know, so that's worth a couple bill. You know, Zelensky smartened up. He's like, all right, how do I get on this good side? I know. Put on a suit. And bam! Look what happens. Money flowing, weapons going, war going. They're talking about peace. But that's not happening either, right? And why? Because there's profit to be made. And who pays for that? Ready? 2 thumbs, point inward, smile. Right here. We got to get T-shirts made for that. But yeah, man, that's what's up. We also have an awesome guest today. Halsey English will be joining us, and I see that he's in the waiting room. So I do not want to waste his time. So I would love to see Halsey join us and just connect with him and just let him know, sorry, dude. This was a last-minute thing with Joe getting stuck at the port. And I'm just very gracious that you still were willing to hop on with us. That is so awesome of you. And I just want to say thanks, man.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you. How you doing?
Thank God in heaven. I mean, a little bit of a black pill you got going on with the way things are going. I don't have such a negative outlook. I'm glad 2025 is over. tell you the truth.
That's how the show started.
But you know what though? Like think of like these things on a case by case basis, right? You have the fraud that's going on with all the Somalis.
Right.
You know what the difference is? Now we're hearing about it.
True.
So it's already a step in the right direction. That before this has been going on for years and years and years, and people have maybe hinted at it, but we haven't heard about it. We haven't gotten the details. And now all of a sudden we're getting the details, and we're seeing who are the perpetrators. And the part that no one's really publicizing, there's already been something like 70 people brought up on charges. Like, so we're seeing some now has Walls been brought up on charges? No, but God willing, he will be. And Ellison and all of the other politicians that allowed this to happen, hopefully they will be. I mean, it's really scary that Walls was like a jump skip away from being vice president. You know, that's the horrid part. But when all's said and done, I mean, we know about it. We see what's going on. Trump froze all child care subsidies to Minnesota, and from what I understand, he's about to freeze them to all states until they validate that no fraud is going on in their systems. We know what's going on in California. We've been hearing more about the fraud there, which means that Gavin Newsom's going to have a harder time running for president in 2028. So, like, again, the outrage should be there. You should be pissed. I'm not telling you shouldn't be pissed. But what I'm saying is that we're at least a step ahead, that we know what's going on now, right? Like we have confirmation. We're seeing the journalists start to pick up on it. We're starting to see movement on it from our government. Whereas before it was just going on, and at the best we had speculation, you know? So let's look at a good direction. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, maybe nothing happens. Maybe nobody goes to jail. Maybe it continues. But as of right now, at least we know about it. And at least we can try to hold our leaders accountable for it. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you, but I would caution you on something. The term America First, right? It's been used by almost every president that we've ever had. No one's ever actually defined it. What does it mean? And we would struggle to both come up with a definition of America First that probably made sense to both of us. Let's not look towards slogans. Let's look towards actions, right? Like, what can we demand of our leaders in order to right now start to right the ship? How do you put America first? For me, the issue that matters is mass migration. The fact that we're being replaced in this country is, to me, all that matters, right? It's why houses are expensive. It's why our job market sucks. It's why our products are more expensive. It's why we have increases in crime. Mass migration and the attempt to replace us is the issue, and they're moving on it, right? Trump's already deported more, and Diesel in the chat was talking about this. The proof is the way that they measured deportations. They said that Obama and Biden had higher deportations than Trump. The way they measured it was they included people who were stopped at the border and turned away. Those were considered deportations under Obama and Biden. Trump took that away as a metric. He counts it separately. So the big difference is that when we see deportation numbers, whether they be voluntary deportations or forced deportations under Trump, those are actual numbers. Whereas under Biden and Obama, it was people that were turned away at the border who could have just literally walked out of line, turned around, jumped over the border, and went right back in. And they would have been considered a deportation under Obama or Biden.
No, I get you on that, and thank you for sharing that. I could definitely say I never remembered Obama, Biden, Bush even having troops on the ground basically going after illegals to remove them. Like, this is all new territory we're in, and that is kudos to Trump. Don't get me wrong; like, that needed to be done. People needed to see that, and people needed honestly to experience that too, because at this point, people feel like they could walk around in this country, breaking the law, being here illegally, collecting benefits, and they're just as right to do that as you and I are as a tax-paying citizen, just to live and behold here, and that's not the case. It's really not. So it is good to see that, and I believe it's supposed to be around 2 million by, I think, his first full year. They're saying including deportations and adding self-deportations as well, those that took payments.
3.7. They're
It's
at
going
right
to be
now. 3.7.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that's a good start for a 12.
Also, remember another big thing Trump did. The Democrats added 80,000 new IRS agents in order to come after us for every transaction that we've made over $500. Trump has repurposed almost all of those hires to the border. He's deputized them to the border guard, and now they're not sitting in offices trying to figure out how to take our money. They're trying to figure out how to stop illegals from coming in the country. That's a big deal. Like, that's something huge that Trump did. He tried to pass it that he just got those hires canceled, and they wouldn't give it to him. And so now, instead of getting those new hires reclassified, he just put them all on the border. So, like good things are happening. There are plenty of good things happening to make us not want to jump off a bridge. And it's very easy to look at the problems and go, okay, well, there's such problems. We need to be upset about the problems, but we also have to look at what is the government doing now to address those problems, and is there movement being made? And if there is, then we should be happy about it, because we can't just expect everything to happen all at once, that like as we snap our fingers, all the illegals are gone. We snap our fingers, all the fraud is gone. We snap our fingers, everyone's in jail. But we have to look for, is the process starting? Are we now knowing about it? Are we now seeing there be movement? Is the government starting to look into these things and start to come out with evidence for us? And as of right now, they're doing it. So why should we be blackpilled in a time where if Biden was still president, or if Kamala was president, not only would they not be looking at it, they would be calling us racist for even thinking about it.
Oh, 100%. I have no disagreement here whatsoever with that. And like I said, I agree. I love that there's movement. I want to go back to something you said earlier, though, when you mentioned, we didn't have I believe it was like no blueprint on how to deal with these things. And I go back to Washington a long, long time ago. He left the blueprint that we kind of just shat on. And part of that was isolationism and not getting into these alliances with foreign countries, because he understood the historical context of what alliances have the potential to lead to.
Sure.
He also wanted to limit mass migration. Like he didn't want any of this stuff. And we completely ignored his wishes. So there was a playbook, or at least a guideline, that we kind of just said, the hell with this, as we progressed, as we became teenagers and into, I say we're kind of adults now, in 200 years as a country, kind of adultish, young 20s.
Think about it. We're at 250 years this year.
Young 20s?
250 years.
Nationwide, we're about like young 20s. Like we still out partying, drinking all the time. Where are we?
Yeah. We basically graduated college. We're 250 years this year. Yeah. We're going to be celebrating as the birthday of our country. I think that's pretty cool. But when all's said and done, first we have to look at, where did it end? Where did we take the country that was established by Washington and Jefferson and all of them, and where did we get rid of it? And that was the Civil War, right? That's when federal supremacy became a thing, and we decided to start taxing and moving towards federal supremacy of all of our state rights. Is the Civil War, right? Now, a lot of people like to just frame it, it was only about slavery. It wasn't about slavery. Slavery was an issue. Correct. Don't get me wrong, but it was about tariffs. Okay, and it was how this country managed to keep its independence and to keep states in charge of our futures. And we've abandoned that largely, right? But now, knowing that we've abandoned that, how are we going to move forward and get that right back, where we can look to our states with a level of confidence that they give a shit about things that are going to matter to us? I think that's important.
You're right. I feel like us now in 2020, going to 2026, I feel like the people collectively as a whole are more, the government fixes everything for me.
Yes, and 100%.
And they're reliant on government, and that is the wrong answer. We were founded because government wasn't the answer, and now we're looking for government to be the answer. It's unbelievable to see what's going on. You have socialist leaders that are going to be sworn in on the Quran tomorrow in New York City. Like I just read, Mamdani's going to have 3 different sets of Qurans to be used at his sworn-in ceremony. Socialists using 3 sets. I wonder why. I bet she's going to auction those off. I bet you he's going to get paid. I guarantee it, dude. They all operate the same way. Dude was living in a rent-controlled apartment. Mom's a multi-million. I don't know how that ever works out. Like, I grew up in a rent-controlled apartment in New York City, in Queens, New York. Like, and my mom wasn't a multi-millionaire. My mom was on welfare growing up. So, like, I don't know how he had access to shit like that. I really don't. It blows my mind. But yeah, that dude's taking over New York. That's a problem. The judiciary is a problem. I think the people in this country have finally woken up to the problem of the judiciary. Would you agree on that statement?
I think that we've woken up to the idea that seeking redress from our courts is more of a joke than we've given it credit for, and it's something that we're going to have to address like very, very shortly in order to keep sane as a country, to be honest with you. But that being said, again, I think that in some ways the knowledge of it gives us the ability to fix it. And look, we got a tough road ahead. I'm not glossing over the issues that we face. I'm just saying that being aware of them is obviously the first step. And now we're aware of these problems a lot more. Like, the names of these judges that keep stomping on our rights are household names at this point, right? Like, we know about the prosecutors who are doing this. We know about the people who are paying them to do this. Again, great first steps. Let's see if we can do something about it. And I think that we can.
But we can, but will we, right? The follow through is where the hang up always seems to be, or at least where the frustration is. And I agree with you with the judges. Like, some of these names people know off the top of a hat, and they're still in power, right? They're still not in power, but they're still presiding.
They're still in office.
They're still in office. And I brought this up yesterday, but it's an issue when ideology trumps principle. And that's what we have going on in the court system right now, is you have that battle that's going on between people that read the law for what it is, and then you have other people that read the law for how it is, but then, oh no, I feel a certain way about it. This person might feel differently, so I got to interpret it this way, right? They look through different lenses and put their finger on the scale to give different rulings in the favor of different individuals based on the hierarchy of victimhood, I call it, or the position of power, because they can also be real wealthy, powerful political figures that shit gets swept under the rug too, right? But the regular folk, the regular UI folk, average Joe, has no shot in the judicial system whatsoever, rotted to the core. If you're a pro-American person bringing any type of suit forward, you will lose if you are fighting in a blue state. Facts. I am going through that. I am going through that right now. It is something I can't believe I'm in the middle of this. But yeah, it is. The court system is there to be the arbiter between right and wrong and to keep society balanced. I think the judiciary has done more damage to this, more damage, if not the most damage to this country than any other arm of the illegal immigration, right? Like, all these things together just keep putting Americans in a vice, right? And we feel the pressure, and we feel the squeeze. So how do you rectify the judges, right? We could do it through state legislatures if they got the balls to actually impeach state judges that are guilty of crimes, but are they actually being investigated, right? Like, I don't know if those things are happening. Who has the manpower, willpower, desire to do that? Somebody needs to do it.
I can answer that for you.
I can answer that for you. Let's do it.
So look at it this way, right? What were the states always supposed to be? The states were always supposed to be the incubators of policy, right?
Correct.
States were supposed to decide the best ways forward, try different things out, and they can move to other states if they're successful, right? Now, you just said it yourself. You said, I don't think that people in blue states can expect justice from the courts, right? So what are they doing? They're moving to red states. Yep. And what are the red states? It's like, look at Florida. They're going to be abolishing property taxes. They're fully implemented school choice, right? They're doing the things, the stand your ground laws, the constitutional carry, the things that we want to see done are happening in the red states. And why? And what is that causing? Migration. People are leaving California. People are leaving New York. People are leaving New Jersey, and they're going to Florida. They're going to Texas. They're going to West Virginia. They're going to the Carolinas, and they're giving us a critical mass of people in these states where not only are we able to experience the proof of the pudding that we're going for, but we're also expanding their power, because when they do the next census, and God willing, they won't even allow illegals to be counted in the next census, You're going to see California losing seats. You're going to see New York losing seats. And where are they going to go to? They're going to go to Florida. They're going to be going to Texas. They're going to be going to North Carolina. They're going to be going to the states that are the incubators of power that we're looking for. And as we come towards 2028, where Trump will obviously not be able to run again, we're going to see those people that have been incubating those power probably step up and run for office on the basis of, we tried this in my state and it worked. Let's try to make this national, right? Like DeSantis will probably run. You'll see Rubio probably run. Will they be able to get over the JD hump? I hope so, but a guy can only dream. And we're getting to the point now where the states are working in the way they're supposed to, because we're supposed to see how shitty it is to live under Democratic rule. Okay, and we're seeing it in the blue states. Like, there's never a time where you're opening up any kind of news organization or anything where you're seeing massive fraud detected in Florida, judge rules, you can't lock up criminals, like tax rates are out of control. The worst you're seeing is that real estate's getting really expensive there because so many people want to buy, and so for us to sit back and look at it and be like, okay, well, how do we get past this? Well, we have to get past the idea that if we're going to live in a blue state and live under the rule of the Democrats that we can't stand, that we're probably going to have to accept that we're not going to be happy with the way the system's going. And we shouldn't be looking to can we change the blue states and make them less blue? We should be talking about how do we get to the red states and make them more red.
Interesting.
And I see it happening.
I hear you. So you're basically envisioning collapse of the blue states.
They already are collapsing. Look at what Newsom had to do just to keep his budget deficit in a multi-billion-dollar number. Did you see this thing with the ambulances?
No, I did not.
So during COVID, right, he raised the price of ambulances from $300 to $1,400. Then he billed Medicare for $1,400, Medicaid and Medicare for $1,400 per ambulance. But yet he still only paid $300 to the providers of the ambulance services and just pocketed the rest of the money and put it in the general budget and called it a surplus, right? So they found he did that. He had $28 billion that he put towards a train that never built a single yard of track, right? All those houses burned down. Not a single one of them has been rebuilt. They don't even have a permit to rebuild a single one of them yet. Like, we're able to see this stuff and understand that, like, okay, when we subject ourselves to blue state rule, we're subjecting ourselves to hell. Like, when we see people get stabbed on trains and die because they're white, we know that, like, we don't want to live like this. This is not a way we want to subject our kids to. So don't get me wrong, I live in a blue state. I know what you're talking about. But when do we get to the point where we say living like this is not something we're willing to subject our kids to because it's just not safe? It's not okay for them. When are we going to go take part in the renaissance of the red states that are happening, where all of the things the blue states promise us but never happen are actually happening? When are we going to go to the place where the Second Amendment actually means something, and that not only can you defend yourself, but you're not going to be thrown in prison for 50 years for defending yourself? Right? Like, these are all things that are happening on the state level, just the way they're supposed to. And every time a red state seems to adopt a good law, it spreads to the other red states. And what happens? The population moves more to the red states. And you're seeing, like, even the places that have had extreme poverty are starting to gain more and more businesses. They're starting to gain more and more people. Right? And as I said, when they do the next census, you're going to see them gain more and more electoral votes and representation. How long before California starts demanding to be split into two, a red and a blue state? How long before Idaho gets critical mass and starts getting to the population it needs? How long before Colorado stops being blue and becomes purple? Because the rich Californians that all own homes there are all of a sudden not going to want to go there anymore because people are starting to move there that don't give a shit about all this blue state nonsense. Right? Like, we're starting to see it now. Again, it's working. Like, we are doing it. And the Trump revolution was a populist revolution, right? That was, we're tired of the tranny bathrooms. We're tired of the endless wars. We're tired of all of the crap that's coming out of the Republican and Democratic government, the politicians. The next stage is going to be away from populism and getting away from all of this retarded conspiracy nonsense that wastes our time. And when are we going to start apportioning money to states that are using it properly? When are we going to lower income tax rates? When are we going to start paying down the debt? How are we going to deal with the upcoming financial disaster that is going to hit the federal government because of the 40 trillion in debt? And the further you look, the more encouraging it is, right? Like, we know what's going to happen. We're $40 trillion in debt and we can't pay it back. They're going to debase the currency, right? But what are you seeing? You're seeing gold prices going through the roof. You're seeing Bitcoin prices going through the roof. You're seeing the prices in the commodities that we need to survive the crash going through the roof. And let me let you in a little secret. Me and Tom Mwongo talk about this all the time, right? For the last, I want to say 10 years, the vast majority of FHA and USDA loans, those are mortgages that come from the federal government and are backed by the federal government, have been going to non-residents, okay? Yes. Like H-1Bs, green card holders, and illegals. And now that we're throwing all of them out, guess what? Did you know those mortgages are assumable? Did you know all of those phenomenal fixed rate mortgages guaranteed by the government are going to be able to be assumed by borrowers that don't need to have any assets to do it? They just got to sign a piece of paper that they'll make the payments every month. That's a huge deal for all of the generations that keep saying, I can't afford a house, because those houses are coming back on the market and those mortgages are assumable at their original rates. And they're not adjustable rates either. So again, the Fed is moving.
So you're saying a movement in the housing market coming could be where these open lots that have appeared now because people have had to vacate them, right? Boom, out of the country. Yep. Are they going to put that into like a lotto system for Americans? Like how do you think that's going to play out? Like what's the mechanism behind it? How's that going to work?
What's going to happen is people are going to start talking about it more, like I do, like Tom does, like you'll start doing too. Is that most people don't even know these mortgages are assumable, right? So what's going to happen is, and when I'm talking about assumable mortgages, BlackRock's not allowed to assume a mortgage from the FHA. Right? They can't be investment properties. They can't even be second properties. So it's not like I can go buy 15 houses on mortgages by assuming them from the FHA. They have to be primary residences. Okay? So the more we talk about it, the more people that are finding these places that are coming up, and you can find them on Zillow right now. You know, they'll be called short sales, they'll be called tax sales, things like that. You make the call and you find out who holds the mortgage. Is it the Federal Housing Authority? If they hold the mortgage, offer to assume it. Okay, a person would rather you assume their mortgage and take the property than lose everything and have it go into a tax sale where it goes for less than they owe and they wind up getting ruined over it. They would much rather just move out and give you the mortgage, and then you don't got to worry about a down payment. You don't got to worry about mortgage insurance. You just got to make your payment every month. And now that you know about it, you'll tell more people about it, and more people will talk about it because it's something that's coming out. More of these houses are coming on the market. Remember what Trump did with H-1Bs? Hasn't had any effect yet, but it will. He's now made it that if you want an H-1B employee, not only do you have to go through all the hurdles you used to have to go through, which wasn't that much, but now you have to also pay $100,000 per employee per year to bring in an H-1B. Now all of a sudden having your Indian slave isn't so financially viable anymore, right? Now you're going to see with more of the deportations, the job markets that we always say, well, these are the jobs that Americans don't want to do anyway. Guess what? They do want to do them. The problem is they haven't felt enough pain to want to go do them. And now we're coming into the pain area. Go to the grocery store. Go shopping. You'll know the pain. Okay? Things are getting more expensive and it's going to get worse. And the young people are more shielded than people like my age because young people don't have any savings. When you debase the currency, inflation is just a tax on savings. So when you have a huge amount of inflation that comes through from all the debt we have and everything, yes, it kicks us in the face, but if you have savings, it utterly obliterates you. If you don't have savings, you know what you get to take advantage of? Higher wages. Because wages go up in a period of inflation, otherwise they can't get you to do the job. So a person that doesn't have any money, that doesn't have anything going for them, all of a sudden picking strawberries doesn't seem like that much of a bad idea when all of a sudden you can get paid a real wage to do it. Driving a truck doesn't seem like such a bad idea, which, by the way, we need 750,000 truckers in this country that we don't have. And what did Trump just do? Made it next to impossible to get a commercial driver's license if you're an illegal. Okay? Yeah, we have 1 million. The last time I checked was 2023. I assume the number's even higher now. We have 1 million skilled labor jobs that are available in this country with no one to fill them. Okay? Skilled labor means factory jobs.
Yeah. But that's a disservice to just our options in the education level for like vocational education for kids, just to like from the high school level, just go into trades, truck driving, mechanic, and you know what I'm saying? HVAC units. Hell, it's going to have to be AI prompting and robot repair the next wave.
You want to hear a crazy story about it? I have a relative that's a public school teacher, inner city, right? They have one of the top 10 vocational schools in the entire country, not just in the state, in the entire country. If a student comes to them and they're supposed to give them like a junior year, like, hey, this is where you're at and this is where you should go, the student has to request to go to vocational school. If the teacher suggests it to them, that's considered racist and they can get written up. If they say to them, hey, you might not be getting into Harvard, you can't read or write, you really should get into plumbing and we have the school for you to do it for free, they would get written up as a racist because they're not supposed to tell people that college isn't for them. That's changing. That policy officially changed. My relative's already retired.
Okay.
But that policy officially changed by a blue state, black mayor of the town, changed that policy because he specifically said, why are we not telling our inner city kids to become plumbers, to become welders, right? The Army themselves, not even the private market, the Army themselves needs 60,000 welders over the next 2 years. 60,000 that we don't have. You think what, they don't pay well enough?
That's
Guess
a lucrative job. That's a lucrative job.
But not only does it pay well, if you go into the Army to become a welder, you get the GI Bill, which means if you want to go to college or trade school, they pay for it.
Yep.
You have access to government mortgages because VA loans are the best loans you could get in the country by far. You pay a prime rate. You don't have to make a down payment. You don't need mortgage insurance. The only thing you're required to do to get your house is a $5,000 fee. That's it. And you get your property at prime rate. Like, remember when people? I'm assuming you're old enough to remember when people went into the Army to pay for school.
My friends,
right? Yeah,
I had friends.
I was turned down. Otherwise, I would have went in.
Yeah, I had friends that went in to serve 9/11. They went in right after 9/11, did their time, came out, got their degrees paid for. One guy became a maintenance director at a golf course because he got his degree from Rutgers for golf course maintenance through the GI Bill. So yeah, I get it. We did such a disservice to, I believe it was my generation coming up. I'm 42. So in my generation coming up, it was the drive to everyone has to go to college, everyone has to go to college, everyone has to go to college. So I went to college. I wish I kind of did something different now because of just seeing the opportunities and the money that could be made if you actually have some of these high demand in need skills that should have been filled by my generation through vocational education, but that wasn't considered an investment at the time. It was looked down upon at the time.
Bro, I graduated high school when I was 15. I have a degree in theoretical mathematics. I have a degree in political science. I have a degree in forensic science, and I have an MBA in global economics. And you know what I do for a living? I'm a blacksmith. I'm a blacksmith and a gunsmith. Okay, like, so you don't have to tell me about it. And someone asked, how does debasing the currency help? It doesn't help. Okay, it's what we have to do. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. It's already happened twice. Okay, once during the Great Depression, once right after during the Great Depression, once in the 70s, and all of us can read about what happened. 25% inflation, took years to overcome it. We've already done it twice, and we're going to have to do it again. And you're going to see it happen again. There is absolutely no way they're not going to debase the currency. And they're going to do it the same way they have many, many, many times. The first time, they collected all the gold from the country at $20 an ounce and immediately revalued it to $34.50 an ounce, right? Caused hyperinflation, caused all kinds of problems, but they had to do it. In the 70s, we took it off the gold standard completely and put it on the petrodollar standard and made it completely fiat. It took 6 years into Reagan to overcome Nixon doing that. But guess what? We did it. And we came out the other side better. My guess, and what most economists that I've spoken to say, the way they're going to do it now, $20,000 gold and $1 million Bitcoin. Meaning they'll just take those two assets, reevaluate them, and just put them on the books to lower the debt. Because when we lower the debt, what do we get? Hyperinflation. What happens with hyperinflation? Now the $40 trillion in debt is being paid off with dollars that are worth about a quarter of what they were supposed to be. But again, the people that you'd be most concerned about in a period of hyperinflation are young people, which you won't have to worry about because they don't have any savings. So they're not going to get absolutely murdered by this, but they will be a beneficiary of higher wages. And old people who you don't have to worry about as much, because number one, they're holding on to assets, houses that they haven't been able to downgrade because their interest rates are too high, and Social Security is tied to inflation. So once the inflation hits, they'll be covered. Middle class people going to get crushed. They always do. I hate it, but that's what happens.
So
because they have savings in dollars.
And
But at the same time,
this hit? When does this hit?
I would say by 2028, but again, it depends on a lot of factors.
Because if you think about it, if they were to do this, let's say 2026 coming up and midterms coming up, and the economic blowback would just be catastrophic, where there'll be no chance at the election box, correct?
They wouldn't do it in 2026. They're going to do the opposite in 2026, which is going to be really bad as well. But again, don't think I'm just painting a rosy picture here and saying there's not going to be any pain. There will be quite a bit of it. What I'm saying is we can get through it without a civil war where we wreck the whole country and start killing each other in the streets because we're all starving. But in 2026, what they're going to do is give us stimmy checks, and they're going to call it a tariff rebate, which is complete bullshit to begin with. Right? Tariff income isn't income to begin with. It's nuts to even consider it income. It's just a tax. And the only reason why it shows up on the books as a profit right now is because they haven't passed the cost on to us. Right? All of these taxes that the companies are paying to import shit, they're going to pass them on to us. That's what companies do. Right? What do you think they're going to just say, well, we're going to eat it on profits for a couple years to pay all these tariffs? No, they're going to raise prices. Right? But we'll get the stimmy checks to keep 2026 competitive. But after that, with Trump not on the ballot in 2028, I would say that by 2028 you're going to see some serious economic reshuffling, let's say.
And would this be all announced, pre-planned, kind of talk to the American people through it? Or is it just going to be pull the ripcord one day, we wake up and here we are?
What it'll be is that you'll hear that Bitcoin and gold are soaring, which you're already hearing now, right? Even though Bitcoin's in a bit of a dip. The reason why I say $1 million Bitcoin is because the government has been acquiring massive amounts of Bitcoin for the last 10 years, but there's a difference. They're not paying for it. They're getting it from seizures, from crimes, from different drug lords, from international things. You reevaluate that. You pay nothing for it. You evaluate it to $1 million. You put it on the books at about $5 trillion. Next thing you know, our debt isn't so big. You reevaluate the amount of gold that we have in Fort Knox right now, which is about 83 metric tons. Last I checked, reevaluates to about $6 trillion if you put gold at about $20,000 an ounce, which it's already halfway there to begin with. So, and that's with just regular markets. Okay, you put it there, and now all of a sudden our debt is unmanageable.
I remember the Fort Knox being talked about by Trump early in his second term. Hey, we're going to go in there with the cameras and show everybody. How come he hasn't done that yet?
Because he doesn't have to.
Yeah, but
he realized it's a useless.
That's an easy dub for the people, though, to like make people believe that hey, the gold's there. It's an easy dub. It's an easy dub.
I agree, but but here's the real question: would you believe it? If Trump said, I would believe it because I happen to like Trump, but the vast majority of people will go, oh, that's bullshit. And they'll come up with like 100 different conspiracy theories as to why it's bullshit. They'll be like, oh, see the bar where they have that gold right there? That bar is obviously made from titanium, which we've never made a bar from titanium. So therefore, they just made it up, like the moon landing and vaccines and everything else. And it'll turn into another conspiracy theory of it wasn't true to begin with. Because the one thing they're not going to do is open Fort Knox up to 100 different reporters to go in at the same time with all their cameras. It would be a national security threat. So it'll be pictures, which no one would believe anyway, which is probably why he hasn't done it, to be honest.
So let me ask you this then: if we wind up doing this to our currency 2028, what's going to be the world's response to that?
The world's
going to be like cool. China's going to be like cool. Isn't that?
Yes, China, Japan, and Europe. Right? Europe would get hit the hardest. Okay. China would be in heaven. They have a debt problem too. So does Japan. And guess what? They both have plenty of Bitcoin, plenty of gold. They would be the only thing you do when you literally defile your currency is you just need other countries to buy into it and say, hey, I'll agree with you that those things cost that much now. And you've got a system. You've got a way that it works. China is in a major debt problem. They're also in a population problem. Japan is at 200% of GDP in debt. right? They both need to be able to get out of their debt traps. So the two places that need it the most would be more than happy to go along with it. And the people that would suffer from it are the people that every one of us want to suffer from it, which is Europe. Okay, Europe's been fucking us over for so long. Them getting a little comeuppance is something that nobody would argue with.
I'm sure no. Yeah. But with the China front, like they're also working behind the scenes with BRICS and trying to establish their alternate currency system, though, aren't they? Based on commodities.
BRICS is not an alternate currency system. BRICS is an alternate payment system. Right? Because what it's always been is that in order to settle debts internationally, the dollar was the reserve currency. You had to buy dollars to send them back and forth. What BRICS is doing is they're allowing you to tokenize your own currency and settle debts in your own currency. Right? Now, we don't have a problem with that, with countries like China and Japan actually doing that. And BRICS is actually going to be a big boon to America because we've already defiled our petrodollar system. Like Saudi Arabia is already taking other currencies to settle debts for oil, right? And the one thing is, that's really great. We don't need their oil. We never did. That was the really cool thing we did, is that we bought all our oil foreignly over foreign sources. Foreignly, I made that word up. We bought all our oil from foreign sources for like the last 50 years or even 100 years. But you know why? Because why use our own when we can get other people's for really, really cheap, which is what we did. And now we have a ton of, we're an exporter now, you know?
But we also gave away our stockpile a whole bunch during the Biden administration. We were
That's not a stockpile. That's not that much.
We were emptying our reserves out, were we not, to keep the
Our
prices
reserves
down?
are, I think, at nothing. Yeah, I think our reserves are at not. We started refilling it, but we're not close yet. Right, but remember, oil's at $60 a barrel right now. That's nothing.
True. But I'm thinking about when Biden was office, right? He to control the price of gas, right? He emptied out our reserves to just make it the pain less bearable. Remember those little stickers with the Joe Biden with the finger? I did that. I used to drive around and put those on gas pumps. I'm not gonna lie. That was my one little.
Because the way Joe Biden did it, I actually did it too. I enjoyed it myself. But the way that Joe Biden did it, right, was he just flooded the market with oil that we already paid for a long time ago. Okay. Now, the way Trump's doing it is he's lowering gas taxes throughout the country, and he'll force the sellers to also lower the prices because we'll be buying in bulk. And not to mention, a little bit here and there, we've also been kind of swiping it from Venezuela as it comes in, right? We're like now officially pirates. So refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is not going to be something that's like so painful for us. But we're a net exporter in oil, and our biggest oil import comes from Canada. So, like, we're good. And if he gets the oil assets back from Venezuela, which, by the way, they already offered to us, we just said no, right? So, if we start getting the oil imports under control in addition to our exports, the only people who are going to be paying a premium for fuel are the countries that are obsessed with this Green New Deal shit, and that's again Europe. So anywhere we've got to make up the money, we'll just sell it to Europe at market rates, and they'll get crushed by it, whereas we won't because it's our own property.
Speaking of Venezuela, what's your take on what's going down there? Is this just narco operations? Is there something more that we're not privy to?
If this was narco operations, we would be going after the people who actually are a problem, which is Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed,
all the cartels are located there. So if this was really about the drugs, we'd be going after Mexico. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's a great way to frame that, we're looking for war, but that's not why we're doing it. The reason why we're doing it is because the worst people on the planet, the Hezbollahs, the Muslim Brotherhood, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the worst people on the planet in terms of human trafficking, in terms of drugs, in terms of crime, hustle all of their money through Venezuela. That's where their cash becomes legitimate and sent back and forth overseas. We stop that, and then all of the problems that we've had with all of this mass migration shit starts to become a little bit easier, because all of these people who are using our economy to take cash and send it overseas to all these conflict zones to hustle people and drugs over the border to bring terrorists in, all of that basically goes away. And the added benefit is if we debase the currency, which, as I said, is going to happen. It's not something I want to happen. It's going to happen. right? Then who is left holding the bag? The Iranians, the Hezbollah, the Muslim Brotherhood. All of their assets are in cash. So, you know what I'm saying? And their cash has now become a quarter of the value that it ever was. That's what this is about them paying people to come over the border and cause problems here.
So with Venezuela, do we actually go in, or we're just popping them every once in a while until they give us what we want?
We're just letting them know that they're our bitch, and that anytime we want, we can take Maduro out. And we're letting China and Russia and all of them know that this isn't about us going to war with the BRICS nations. This is about that we'll just take the oil they're buying. Like if we tell them not to buy the oil from Venezuela, then they say, yeah, who cares? America isn't going to do anything anyway. We'll just take it, which is what we've done for the last 3 shipments of oil they've tried to send out, right? We just took it and just brought it to America, and we're like, yeah, it's ours now. Like, if you want to come get it, have fun. You know?
The Trump clip, yeah, I guess it's ours now when the reporter asked him.
Yep.
But
eventually Maduro will probably go, unless he agrees to like basically get in line with a more Western system of imports, of exports, gives us back all of our assets, and stops it with the human trafficking, cash allocations, and all of that. If he stops it, he'll stay in power. If not, we'll just remove him from power. But that's not hard because he already has massive internal, opposition. So we don't need to go to war there to prove anything.
Is China going to come poke around over there, or are they encircling Taiwan as their drill, is kind of their warning shot to us, like, hey, you mess around over here, we're going to piss you off over here? Is this kind of what's going on between these two, the tick for tack?
You know what'll make you feel a lot better about China? Stop looking at them as an enemy and look at them as a competitor, because that's what they are. Okay? They don't want a war with us. Okay? And if they did, it would just be a world-ending war for us and for them. They're our competitors. And the only reason that we give a shit about Taiwan, even in the slightest, is they produce advanced computer chips that we don't want the Chinese getting, which, by the way, they're going to get. Okay? Because within 5 years, they won't need them from Taiwan anymore. They'll just make them themselves. This once you get the technology down, you've got the technology down. What we want is the ability to have them produced here and by our allies, so that they're not being bottlenecked in Taiwan, which we're already doing. We're building a chip factory in Arizona. We're building one in Ohio. We already have production up and running in Israel, India, and a couple other places. Like we're going to be fine as far as the chips go. We just want, before we tell Taiwan like we don't give a shit anymore, that Taiwan will hold out, which is what they're going to do. But Taiwan doesn't care about China, just like Hong Kong didn't care about China. As long as China doesn't come in and tell them, like, hey, you're now under our government and all of the things that you love about your society are gone, they don't care. They obviously don't care. They've elected pro-Chinese governments before, right? So when all's said and done, we're just holding them off, but they're not going to invade Taiwan. It's just probably going to be a peaceful unification, just like the UK was with Hong Kong. It's just a question of when are they going to do it and how.
Got it. I don't think putting a naval blockade around that island is going to make the people make you more endeared to the people, though, when they're going to want to take you over.
You care about it if you care that it means anything, right? Fair. They put a naval blockade around Taiwan. If they don't stop any ships from coming in and out, and there's no shots fired by any side, do you really, like, if you looked off the coast of your water and saw a boat, would you care if it wasn't doing anything?
I would care.
Like, you might think, like, I would probably care a bit too, but again, like, I would say, hey, that sucks, but unless it actually committed an act of war, I don't think I'd care so much. And China's not doing anything. All they've done is send their ships over to show they can.
I know.
Right?
I get you, and I was wondering, do you consider that a response to what we're doing in Venezuela because China gets some of their oil from Venezuela, or this was just
no? China just wants to let us know. China wants to let us know that if we decide to go all in on Taiwan, that it's going to be a meat grinder for both countries, and that it's not, and they're not going to just lay down and let us do it. So, that's what all said and done. And you know what? And why does the U.S. care? It makes Taiwan buy more weapons. It makes Japan increase their naval purchases because now we're cool with them having a military again. Like, we get nothing but benefit from it because they buy all their shit from us. So, like, to us, again, it's all upside. And China's not going to invade. They don't need to. Why waste 1 million troops and $500 billion in military assets to seize something that you could just get by walking over there and spreading around some money, making some assurances.
Completely understand that. And they're not typically war. They don't go to war typically. Right? They play their long game, right? Their big picture, generational growth, right? Not like I need this now, right? They play 30, 40 years down the road. We play every 4 years, every 2 years, election cycles.
Right. They don't need that.
Yeah,
they have a completely authoritarian system. Like, and to tell you the truth, most of their people are completely fine with it.
But
so
have you seen this clip about oh man, I gotta find it for maybe tomorrow. But there's a clip going around out of China of a bunch of young homeless Chinese people on the streets because they've been kicked out of society basically because of not having a good social credit score.
Yeah, and guess what? Sooner or later, they'll probably just leave China.
Well, they have not. Apparently, they have nothing, no money, no access to anything. So I don't know how they're going to go anywhere. Like I don't know. Like if I literally had no,
I don't know either.
And couldn't do anything, I wouldn't know how to do that.
Neither would I. But then again, I don't know what the answer is to that. Like I don't know. Does China just care? Like are they just China's going to let them starve to death? They might. They're not the nicest people.
No, you're right, dude. So we know they're not.
Yeah.
But I did see that the other day, and I found that fascinating. Just like hundreds of people just sleeping on the street. Just because they're young too, like 20s, like not being on the system in there because they got the social credit score. You're not on the system out there, so you're blacklisted. Hopefully,
we have it too. We already have it too. Come on,
yeah, credit cards. Yeah.
Go apply for a job with a really, really, really shitty credit score, like a decent job. Go try to get a house or a rental or a car or anything with a really shitty credit score.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I couldn't get a job. I tried to get a teaching job, 40 different jobs after my last one, couldn't get one. And I had a clean record, so I can't even imagine. I'm just happy Joe got me. Joe, if you're watching, man, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Joe's awesome. Awesome.
Joe is great. And I don't know if you heard or not, he's running for governor. I don't know if you heard that or not. He's actually going to get...
I did not, but I will be happy to support him as much as I possibly can, because that's awesome.
Yep, he officially announced the day after Christmas. I believe he's got a bunch of things coming up in January and February. So yeah, he's gonna be a busy dude looking to get in the muck out here. Which we need more people to do that, to be honest. Like more good people need to get into the muck just to raise the conversation. I'm supporting the guy to win, but this state is brutal, dude. This state is brutal.
I can imagine.
I don't get it because when you walk around and you talk to people, people aren't happy with what's going on, right? Like Colorado is a super majority Democratic control, governor control, super majority in the state legislature, right? They control the courts. I don't know what the fuck the people out here are angry about. Oh, cost of living's too high, rent's too high, education system sucks. You guys have controlled the system in this state for 20 years. Trump has done nothing here. So like, what the hell are you guys talking about? The problems that are going on in this state are all self-inflicted by the leftist thought process and the leftist way of life. But like people don't understand that. It's crazy, dude. It's really it's fascinating to watch. Like people in my neighborhood, oh man, I might get in trouble here. But like they complain. They're liberals. They know what's going on with
liberals do.
They know what's going on with me and my lawsuit with my former school district. They still won't change their policy because they believe what happened to me is completely abhorrent and like that's absurd. But they still vote the same way.
It's the same with the people that saw all them allowing all the men into women's bathrooms and just said, well, it's never really happened to me. They're not doing it at my school. Like, they just figure it's not that big of a problem. But when the pain gets great enough, things happen. I got to run though, man. I'd only allocated an hour for this.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, dude. Thank you so much.
No, it's fine.
In, man. Great conversation though.
Thank you. I look forward to the next one. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Hey, have a
happy new year.
2026. Let's go.
Let's go. Right. Take care, man.
Take care, man. Woo. Wow, what an interview. Sorry, guys, I didn't know. But we just kept going. And that was just a great, eye-opening, free dialogue interview. Halsey's a great guy, super intelligent. You know, some things I may not completely see eye to eye on him, but we were able to talk and just talk through things the way it needs to be in this country, you know, fair, honest, balanced. No one's walking away like, F this guy, F everyone hate. No, it's a great conversation, great dialogue. Hopefully some of you picked up on some things. I'm sure some of the things you heard out my mouth you don't agree with. Too bad I'm in the chair. Make it keep coming back for more, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun yesterday with Ty too, man. I really, I'm really super appreciative of this opportunity, Joe, that you've given me, man. Totally appreciate it. I don't know if you're watching it today or not, but I'm sure you'll be seeing this at some point. So let's keep it pushing with the tipping point. Like, we hit on a lot of points in there. Venezuela, illegal immigration, fraud, judiciary, right? We all feel it. We all taste it. We all smell it. It's in the air. It's on the ground. It's on the TV. It's on our screen. It's in our head. It's on our clothes. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, you smell, you feel it. You smell it. You taste it. You touch it. Like, oh, this sucks. When's things going to change here? When things going to change here? When things going to change here? We need change. We do. 100% we need change, Mr. President. We need you, sir. We need some change. You know, months ago, you referenced people being paper tigers, and I remember that. Sir, we need your people not to be paper tigers. We need your people to do the work. Enough's enough. Arrests need to come. Yes, we see it. We get it. But you know what? You know, same thing with the J6 pipe bomber. Right? Like, you have independent journalists coming out with more information about what is going on than your actual FBI. Like, it's just a bad look, sir. It's a bad look. Is it intentional? Is it not? Is it incompetence? Is it not? I don't know. But like, Kyle Serapin yesterday just posted something on his page about, oh, the car, the suspect's car. Well, there was an internet sleuth that did some digging, found out there was two different types of cars that matched the Cole's description, and neither one of those cars were by where the bombings were found, or in the vicinity of where the bombings were, or the vicinity where the person walked. So like, it's just, everything's just a bad look. Everyone keeps lying. Everyone keeps doing, just keep doing dirt. And if you actually take a look at it, right, I want to put this one up. If we can play cut A5. Okay, this is one of our favorites here. This is the nightly news goon Kyle Clark out here in Colorado, and he seems to like taking shots at Joe, Tina. Don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why he feels the need to misframe what Joe says, say things about Joe that simply is not true. Like, does Joe make bold statements? Sure does. Does he back it up with facts? Sure does. Does Kyle Clark eliminate the preference of a lot of Joe's statements? Sure does. Why? Because Kyle Clark needs ratings because his show sucks. And that's why he hits on Joe, because you know Joe has people that follow, listen. So yeah. So let's play this cut A5 so we could just take a look at what's coming out of Kyle's mouth.
Republican running for governor says the current governor should be executed, hanged, along with Colorado's Attorney General and Secretary of State, hanged for treason. MAGA podcaster Joe Oltmann says all three state leaders who are Jewish are part of a quote-unquote synagogue of Satan Jews and should be executed.
I think Jared Polis should be hung. I think Jenna Griswold should be hung. I think Phil Weiser should be hung. I think they should hang by their neck until dead.
Oltmann says his top priority if he's elected governor would be freeing Tina Peters, who's serving prison time for tampering with voting systems in search of election rigging, which Oltmann claims has fixed every election from the governor's race to recent school board races in Douglas County, where he lives. Oltmann has suggested that President Trump should institute military tribunals and have tens of thousands of Americans executed. Oltmann recently said, quote, "I think violence is probably the only solution at this point." Despite Oltmann's years' worth of calls for executions, he has maintained a prominent role in Colorado Republican politics, speaking at official party events, endorsing candidates, and hosting fundraisers at his chain of gun shops.
You know why, Kyle? Because Joe's a good, straight-up man, and you're a piece of shit, and you lie, and you edit and cut his videos. I have sat here and watched that. I was here in studio when Joe filmed that segment. You cut the shit out of that video to slander him, to make him look differently than how he appeared on video, you lying sack of crap. All true, all true. Joe had prefaced that statement with, if they have committed treasonous acts, they should be tried like the criminals that they are. And the penalty for the crimes are this, right? So you eliminate 80% of what the man says, vilify him for the 20%, project it out to your 40 people that watch your goddamn show. You, sir, are a joke, okay? I just want to say that for my boss. The guy is a good man, honest man. I've never seen that man lie to me. He has stood up, stood on principle. You may not like what his principle is because truth creates enemies. So yeah, your time's coming, pal. Your time's coming. I want to read this because Joe did tweet that video out on his X page. I want to read the post that Joe had with that so everyone can see that. Next with Kyle Clark, 9 News, KUSA, signaling the Antifa shitbags. In this new, regurgitating the same thing he reported a month ago, talks about my call for Governor and Jared Polis, Jenna Griswold, and Phil Weiser to be hanged for treason. 2 things are notable. In 2020, the death threats and people coming to my house were so intense, I had to hire personal security detail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 18 months. They came to my house with guns. They threatened my family members. They sent powder through the mail to intimidate. They literally made my life untenable. Now Kyle Clark put out a video that doxes my home, doxes my businesses that has led again to death threats, phone calls to those businesses, and more I right now cannot talk about. He used 9 News as a tool to inflict harm he knew would happen. At the same time that this is going on, 9 News did not report on one of the most astonishing bribery and criminal activity lawsuits ever to plague Colorado. This could only conclude a jury to find that this active campaign against me is a vendetta conspired by those who seek to, like a criminal community would do, to harm me and my family. Let me explain to you all what I called for. The punishment for treason is in fact the death penalty. Whether or not it is by firing squad or hanging is of no consequence to me. What they have done to the people of Colorado and by extension to many other states is not a victimless crime. They have let violent criminals out on the street, created a safe haven for illegal criminals and cartel gangs, and stolen the voice of nearly 90% of the state of Colorado. It is not a matter of whether the elections are stolen. This is well documented and well known. The leftist radicals in our state, and by extension the establishment GOP, have a unified fight to take from the people what was never theirs to take. Your voice, your sovereignty. They're scared of what I say, which is why they drown it out with lies. I call for consequences, and I call for an election system that will restore the voice of the people. A system that is both transparent and free, mostly of fraud. Right now, the country could not get this bad without the massive amount of fraud. It has consumed our communities and our state. Tomorrow, I will put out the court case for the Synagogue of Satan leadership in Colorado. Let's differentiate the cartel, fake, godless Jewish from the God-fearing brothers and sisters who are Jewish. They are demons that have built a fraternity of evil that is vast. We are a captured state, one where the poorest among us are victims of this evil and have no idea how betrayed they truly are. They are afraid of the truth, and they don't want you to hear it, see it, or fight it. The future is not about me winning the governor's seat. It's about you regaining your rightful place as we the people and restoring your ability to matter, which you clearly do not today. They stole that from you. Stand up. So that's what Joe had to say, and 100%, he's right. He's right. That's what the leftist shitbag media does. They lie, they tweak, they change the words, and they put their spin on it, and then they attack. There's no news reporting there. If Kyle Clark was an actual news reporter, he would have reported the whole story, but he didn't. He didn't, because the spigot, he gets from the spigot. You can't shut that spigot off. You got to defend that spigot. I believe his time will come. I believe his time will come. Just like I believe a whole bunch of other people's times are coming. At least we're hoping for it, because we're feeling it. We're feeling it. You know, and fraud's everywhere. Fraud's being exposed all throughout the country. Billions of dollars being swindled by NGOs, illegal immigrants, at the expense of us. Right here, two thumbs. These guys, us, right? We got to do it with a smile too, right? You got to do it with a smile. Can't call it out. Can't say anything about it. Otherwise you're a racist, right? You got to bend over, grab your ankles. Here we go, right? Don't say it. Don't, no. So Elon put this post out. Elon was up in Doge. Elon funded Doge. He started to do the government audits. So if you take a look at Elon's post, he put it out. He talks about the fraud. It's C1 Damon. He's talking about what actually he believes the fraud in the government actually looks like. He goes, my lower bound guess for how much fraud there is nationally is about 20% of the federal budget, which would mean $1.5 trillion per year, probably higher. You think he would know something? If he was in charge of setting up Doge, doing audits, right? Sending out his AI spiders, doing what they got to do. I'm sure this dude knows a hell of a lot more. But can you imagine 1.5 trillion per year is fraud? It's fraud. That's a lot of money. It solves a lot of problems. Helps our deficit, right? But everyone's getting rich off the fraud except us. Everyone's getting rich. People that come to this country that hate us getting rich. Politicians that make laws for this country that hate us get rich. Foreigners that fund politicians in this government that hate us get rich, right? Everyone gets rich. Everyone gets rich. Everyone, but you shut up, sit down. And the reason why Elon put up that video, put up that post is because there's a video out there from an attorney, Mahik Koch, and she's in Ohio, and she has a video out there talking about Somali fraud being uncovered in her state. Let's take a look at that one.
So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as the doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You continue to add this and you wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork, so they went to other providers. Their home health care network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly, and people who really need it. Not to just live off our system, and that's what's happening in Ohio. I think it's ridiculous, I think it's despicable, but authorities are now looking at it from the Attorney General's office to the U.S. Attorney's office. I flagged them all because this is Ohio tax dollars, and we have to take it seriously. I'm tired of people telling me, well, this is the way it's always been, it's subjective, and we can't really check. No, you can. Audit America, audit Ohio now, and I'm pushing for that in every single state.
Yeah, complete horseshit. It's complete, absolute horseshit what's going on with government dollars, right? When you receive government dollars, you gotta follow what the government wants you to do, and the government's job is supposed to kind of make sure you're doing those things. Complete, absolute failure because no one gives a shit about the American people. That's why this is happening. No one gave a shit because other people were getting rich that needed to get rich. You're telling me a bunch of Somalians from Somalia who can't work an escalator at the Mall of America are figuring out how to freaking run fraud circles throughout different states. Are you kidding me? Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Don't give me that bullshit. Okay? This is a organized, set up cartel by those in the higher up positions all the way to the top that set this stuff up in these states and in these communities. Don't tell me otherwise. Half these people can't read or write. And don't call me a racist for that. It's factually true. Look at the IQ of the people from Somalia. It's factually true. Look at the IQ level. They cannot set this up. They can't spell learning correctly on a center that they're receiving $1.5, $1.7 million from a year from the state of Minnesota. Hey, Tim Walz, while you're out there checking the signs, make sure they were spelled straight. Make sure the people could read. Make sure they could write. You know, you want to make sure the kids can actually understand the words and write the words of the learning center that they go to in case it actually is freaking open. Goddamn joke. Government's all up in my business, every regular Joe Schmo's business. You want to add a wing to your house? You want to do this? You want to do this shit? Pay me. Check this box. Got to make sure this is right. Illegal migrant wants to open up daycare, senior service bed. Oh, bring it in. Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. We're at a tipping point. Thank you, Elon, for pushing all that out. Thank you for pushing all that out. And it makes you think. It makes me really think. And Joe hit the nail on the head with this post. It's time we stop paying taxes altogether. What the hell are we paying taxes for? I pay federal tax, state tax, county tax, school tax, sales tax, gas tax, take a shit tax. It's Friday tax. For what? What are we paying taxes for? What services are we getting? You know what I get? I get denied a chance in my day in court. I get told, no, sir, I do not have a right to bring lawsuit that my First Amendment rights were completely trampled on by my former employer. And I still got to pay taxes to this shit district because I live in the town. Crazy. But I'm nuts. Yeah, okay. Absolutely absurd. Why do we pay taxes? What do we get from it? The judges suck. Judges get paid six-figure salaries, private decal chauffeurs, lunches, dinners, live in six, seven-figure houses, and they don't get touched what happens on the street level because they're never on the street level. They're never in the shops because they got the money and the means to have other people do all the bullshit that we got to do every day. They don't have to do it. They don't have to deal with the daily interactions. They don't see the shit on the street. They don't have to deal with the garbage. You know what I'm saying? They get away with it scot-free, and they look down upon us, and they spit on us. No justice. They walk around like their shit don't stink. Half these judges are corrupt and retarded. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this one, probably. Let me just move on. Sorry, Laura. That was my little rant. There's another rant I'm going to play for you right now, actually. You guys know Andy? Andy Frisella? Well, he sums it up pretty freaking good. And it's about a 2-minute rant. I'm pretty sure it's picking up major traction on social media because he says exactly how the people feel. He articulates it well. You could feel it in his voice. You could feel the pain coming out of his mouth. Let's play it.
We are being lied to. And not only are we being lied to, we're being exploited at the highest degree. And then on top of it, we're being replaced with the dollars that we work our asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the off, dude, I don't know what will. Because I'm going to tell you this, dude, I've worked my ass off for damn near 30 years trying to create jobs and careers and build income and wealth and done all this shit. And these are opening up a daycare and getting 10 million fucking dollars. This is insane, dude. And
with no kids.
If this isn't the breaking point for everybody to stand the up and say enough, then our country is doomed. Period. 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 Okay? Donald Trump needs to feel all the smoke over this. All of it. Okay? He needs to feel all of it over Israel. He needs to understand that he is violating the promises that he has made to the American people. Okay? I've always been a guy that has given that man tons and tons and tons of benefit of the doubt. But at this point in time, that shit is over. And every single that ever voted for him or stood with him needs to let him know. He needs to let him hear it. Because, dude, I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't do something about this and he doesn't start arresting and he doesn't hold people accountable for the Epstein shit and for this shit and for all the fraud and all the raping that's been going on the American taxpayer for decades, he will go down, and not as the best president, he will go down literally as the man who had the opportunity to save this country and chose not to.
That's hard hitting, but struck so many chords. I guarantee you those that are watching it pretty much unanimously agree with that statement. And it's true. It's true. He needs to feel it. You know, he's been in charge for less than a year. Like, if you think about it, just think about it. How did we get here? From winning in November to being sworn in January of this year. The all-time high we were at in 11 months. Look where we are. Take a look at this Rasmussen poll that came out. Only 24% of Americans are satisfied with the trajectory of the United States, a steep decline from January of 2025. Take a look at that. Okay? Right? A little bit close to 40% in January, down to 24% now. Okay? That's almost a 50% decline. Why? Why are we feeling this way, Mr. President? Why are things not getting done, sir? You can't say things are getting better, things are getting done. Like, people, you can't say don't believe my lying eyes, right? Like, there's a problem here. And it's the lack of inaction and the lack of follow-through out of your administration, sir. And this is your second time around. Things need to change. Because once we're out, if things do not get better, we started the show talking about your truth about mail-in ballots. What's being done there, sir, to safeguard our midterm elections that are coming up in less than a year? What's being done to safeguard to make sure the actual vote of the American people count? The actual citizens and the actual voters of this country actually count. Who's going to do that, sir? You issued an executive order, but nothing's being done about it. No, there's no changes, right? No blue states are changing shit. California, Colorado, New York, Illinois, Minnesota, all marching on, straight up, doing whatever the F they want to do. And we just sit here and take it, sir. So yeah, if you don't do anything, midterms, we're going to get swept out of house. You're going to be impeached. 100% you will be impeached. Your legacy will be shot to shit. It will be burned to ashes because they hate you on the left. And once they come in, they will come for you this time and they will get you. They will get you. They will make sure of it. Or they'll kill you. Or they'll kill your family. Like, sir, it's more than just you, right? Like, I would think that would be the number if Harris won president. You know what I'm saying? I would think that would be the number if we had President Harris and Vice President Tampon Tim. I would think that would be the number. But it's not. That's President Trump's number. The guy that gets record turnouts at all his campaign stops. Tens of thousands of people. The love, the loyalty, the dedication that he got from the American people. That's how they feel about him right now, sir. That's how they feel about you. Why? Why? Because we know it's not getting done. The job's not getting done. And you may not care. You may have made so much money and you're good. You guys have said, like, you'll leave, you'll be good, right? Maybe, but it needs to get done. Otherwise, take cover come 2027. After the 2026 midterms are done, take cover 2027. And then hunker down 2028. Because forget about it. Once they win the midterms, they'll come through, they'll win the presidency, and then they'll have complete control. And we know what happens when they have complete control. They actually do shit. And they don't just give their buddies tax breaks and little bullshit things like that. They actually get shit done for what they want to do, which is inflict pain on the American people and prioritize illegals and transgender and war on our kids. Like, all this is going to happen if this doesn't get derailed. And I refuse to allow my kid to be growing up in a world where he's looked at as a white male and he's a problem. I am not going to allow that to happen to him. I will fight to my dying breath to make sure that shit does not make its way back into this White House or back into this Congress. But, sir, I can't do it alone. Get it done. DEI is still everywhere in the school system. Pull their federal funding. Stop playing games. Make it hurt. So yeah, tipping point. Tipping point. And no, they're not going to kill us all. They'll just throw us in jail, take our houses, make life extremely difficult. Think about what they did in 2020 to anyone that didn't get the shot. They made sure you lost your job. They made sure you were debanked. They did everything they possibly could to make your life as hard as possible. But my body, my choice. Yeah, bullshit, out the window. No. Kidding me? No. My body, my choice. No. My body, my choice. No. Man. That's some bullshit. You've been lying to me the whole time? Fuckers. Think about what they're going to do to us. Think about what they're going to do to us. And, I just see now in the comments, 5D chess, man. I don't know how much many 5D chess you could be playing. Everyone knows where everyone stands at this point. Everyone's tipped their hands. We see how Soros is connected. We see Hillary connected. We see how these NGOs connected. We see Somali fraud connected. Like, we see it. The hands have been tipped. We've seen the media for years now. We've seen some of Trump's allies. Their hands have been tipped. We've seen Israel's hand tipped. Let's be honest here. We've seen it all. Hands have been tipped. Cards have been exposed. Everything's on the table. Everyone knows. If you've been paying attention the last 5-10 years, everybody knows. There's no more 5D chess to be played. Who's the secret exposed one we're going to get? It's all right here. WEF. Synagogue of Satan. It's all right here for us. But none's being done still. Voter fraud is through the roof. Documentation, Minnesota, Colorado, California, registering people without proof of residence. Yeah, okay, I'm sure everyone that is registering to vote is an up and up natural citizen, right? Like, because that's how we do it, right? We register online. Typically, a lot of people register through the Selective Service, right? Through the mail, at school, right? At school still does that, right? But yeah, sure. Woo! All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, got a little fired up towards the end there. But I told you, we were at a tipping point. We are at a tipping point. Every day it's something new. Every day it's something else. Like, you ever pop a pimple on your head, right? Eventually, and you just feel that explosion, like that eruption happen, and the pus shoots out. What's going to cause the pus to shoot out on all this bullshit? What's going to pop that pimple on my ass? I want to know. Because this stuff needs to happen. Whew. All right. Let's pray it out. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. Even though I got really angry today and frustrated with what I see, I thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to sit in this seat. Even though I didn't know about it until 15 minutes before show, I am still very grateful that Joe has provided me the opportunity and the belief and trust in me to carry on his show in his absence. And he's okay as well. Let's not forget that. Lord, please keep watching over Joe. He's an important player in what's going on in today's world. And thank you, Lord, for my loving family. Even though sometimes you don't agree on everything or see eye to eye. They're my rock, and I love them so. Lord, as 2025 ends, please extend love, grace, and patience to everyone as we shift through our early 20 years as a nation, as we're growing into adulthood, as the ship keeps rocking, and the ship keeps moving. Please, Lord, give our leaders and our politicians the goodwill and the steady hand to do the right thing for the American people. Because if America goes, Lord, you know the world will follow suit. So, Lord, please give us the strength to regain our footing and to reestablish ourselves as a constant beacon of hope and freedom throughout the world. And please, Lord, let 2026 be better than 2025. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, everyone, thanks for joining me today. I do believe Joe should be back tomorrow, but if not, I might see you tomorrow. I don't know. I plan on being behind the scenes. But everyone, have a great night. Have a happy new year. Do not drink and drive. Celebrate, but do so responsibly. Love, hug, and kiss the ones you love most. Pray for your enemies. And let's buckle up because 2026 starts tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave